Hello everyone. So before I start, I would like to ask you two questions. And the first one is, were you bad at maths? And the second question that I want you to ask yourself is that, are you an introvert? And I come to this after 5 minutes. Let me get started. So I am the elder daughter of a family, and I think that means no introduction. I think you don't know the kind of responsibilities and expectations that come along with that, right? And also, these expectations come to the extent that where my father called me Didi. Also, if I really start talking about what I am, I will say that I'm someone who makes people laugh and cry in same time. So coming to that, chalo shuru se show karti, right? As I told you, I was the elder daughter, and there were always these expectations, these tags that were coming along with me. So for my parents, I was this obedient, always smiling, and the chubby kid. And same for teachers, they had these expectations, and I would not disappoint anyone. I would be the topper of the school. I would get the maximum marks. I would not say no to them for about anything, right? And when it was staggered, I was the happy kid. Happy kid to the extent the kid would always smile. And I really would remember a moment where I actually remember that I cried or expressed that I was not okay. And same thing happened if I talk about my expertise for them. I was creative, kind, I was the class monitor. Someone would always share a lunchbox with people. Yet, I felt like a misfit because for a 12-year-old, 13-year-old to understand that which is the right, suit. When I say suit, it's like a mask that you have to wear in sort of people because I could not fit into any group and I was just trying to figure out that which is my clan. Yeah, like my clan. This is not my clan, and that's why I could never emotionally connect with anyone. And probably the reason I never got invitation for any birthday party, and nor do I have my favorite teachers with me. So, but like, yes, this is life, and things got better. College felt like a fresh slate to me. If I talk about my college days, I was determined that, okay, यार इस बार तो ना मैं बहुत सारे दोस्त बनाने वाली हूँ, and I will definitely fit it to one group. And for that, I got super active in this college culture where I was a part of the college magazine. I was editor of the college magazine. I ensured that I participated in every play that was happening for the farewell or freshers. And this time I actually made a lot of friends. And friends to the extent that I got quite cobbler in my circle. But मेरे बड़प्पा शालियाँ और पढ़ गई. This added to the tags, added to the label which I bought from people where the expectations doubled, right? Now I became the responsible one. I became the mother of the group. I became the life of the party, right? And मुझे थोड़े टाइम बाद ये लगने लगा that I'm just, trying to fit it to the manual, the manual that is given to me by the society. And I was just, जो भी मुझे labels दिए हैं मैं उस manual को follow कर रही हूँ and acting out of character. Actually, it just felt that that is not an option for me. And I'm just putting ticks on whatever is expected out of me. There's a checklist जो मुझे मिली है. I have to be the sanskari one, I have to be the marriage material, I have to be the one who is always achieving. And where am I? I'm always questioning myself. I felt so lost that मैं कर क्या रही, right? And after college, I started my first company, the education tree, with my sister and a friend. And the roles were clearly defined. Hamara was sorted tha. One of them was very good at public speaking. My sister was very good with content, creativity. And I was assumed, like I got the label that yes, you are very good at management operations. So you take care of ops. That is what you are really good at. And just go for it. And we were doing our part of it. And then came the turning point of my life where one of our co-founders, who was an amazing orator, he was a theatre person and he was the face of the organization. He got hospitalized because of the medical emergency. And we had this conference upcoming. A lot of money was invested in the conference. Like that was the best thing, the most awaited thing of the year. And we decided that because he's not around, there's no point taking this forward. Let's call it off. And that's what everyone was deciding. And I don't know from there, that feeling came in, I don't know, let's do this. We're not giving up, we're not backing out. And I will take care of it. And it felt so kriti to me for the first time. And it felt like calling, मुझसे कोई expect नहीं करा. Everyone was taking the practical thing that let's call it out. We'll return the money and we'll just see how it goes. But I told everyone that okay, नहीं ये मैं करूँ. Now keep the moment like मैं पहली बार Lakme stage पे चढ़ गई हूँ with no script, no preparation. I was spontaneous, I was confident. I did fine, right? And that was it. There was no turning point. हम इसे victory बोलते हैं तो I don't call it a victory now. I'm pretty embarrassed. I was pretty bad back there. अब मैं अगर compare करूँ कि मैंने क्या बोला था उस दिन, but that won't change me. That won't make me realize that you can do things out of character also. It's not always the labels that can have that are defining you. You are much more than that. And this company of mine became a training ground for me. I was exploring things which I've never explored in my life. So I danced out street in my flash mob. This was the biggest flash mob of the city in like CPA Dragiri. And before that, I was just told that, oh no, you are a fat girl. You know, fat people don't dance well. They don't look good. Why are you even, thinking of dancing? I did not even perform in a relative's wedding, to that matter. And straight away, dancing in a flash mob. It was a thing for me which I never thought I could do. Or be it addressing more than 2,000 people at the same time on stage. And therefore, it happened there. As my company ensured that I grabbed every opportunity and let go of all the labels that were given to me so far. And also, I realized that sooner or later, the moment I will realize and I start addressing my emotions is when I will get the celebration from the standard I'm getting. Also, I asked you people 2 questions in the beginning that, are you an introvert and were you bad at maths? So coming to those questions, you know your answer pretty well. I want to tell you about the Pygmalion effect. So what happened in California, that an elementary school conducted an exam. Like all the students participated in it, right? And they were told that it's an evaluation, IQ evaluation assessment. And that's what all the teachers were also doing. And after these results were out, they announced that 20% students amongst the batch are the boomers, perform well. They perform better than other amongst their peers. But to get to the fact, that was called an IQ test. That was a Harvard exam. Also, secondly, these were actually not the bloomers. These were just randomly 20% people picked by the researchers, random people in the batch who were announced to be the notes. So this is what happened in these people, and this is what happened in life. We don't become the image we are. We become the image which is shown to us in the mirror. If I really talk about you people being introvert or being bad at maths, I wouldn't recall it. Has there been a moment in life where someone actually told you that, okay, you are bad at maths? Some authority figure told you that, oh, you are bad at maths. And you started believing it, right? And this is what happens in most of our life, that because getting told something by people, we start assuming that this is me and this is how life is for me. So also I want to ask one question of the audience. How many of you think that you are not confident? I would raise your hand. Now I want you to keep your hand up if you think that you have given up on an opportunity in your life thinking that you're not confident. Great. So now I want to tell you one thing, that I see a lot of people still raising their hand that they have given up on opportunities. So can that be the case that where you did not even try doing things, you avoided it, there were no efforts on the tack that you thought you had, and you ended up not becoming a confident person? So this is what really happened in our life. And I call this funny ki paradox. Why funny ki paradox? So if I'm an authority figure for you, and I say that, oh, you are so funny, and you start cracking jokes in front of me because you think, I think you're funny. And I say more, oh, this was so funny, you are very, very, very funny, right? And this gives you this confidence that you try to be funny every time in front of me, and you get the confidence to the extent that you try to be funny in front of others, and gradually you become the funny person. Now, what if I reverse the situation and I go back in time again and I say, oh, you're so boring? Now, you know what happens. You start believing that, oh, I'm boring. And because this authority figure believes I'm boring, you will stop being funny, though you were funny. And this is what happened in our entire life. And we just start, living the tag that people give us. And I think that is the biggest disappointment for anybody. The scariest part is that it's not that people will not believe in us, it is the fact that they will not fight through the tags that are given to us. So what really happened for me that for living most of the life, or the half of my life with these tags, I realized and I overcame with the fact that the day I will shed these tags and I start believing that I can do this, I don't have to live up with the expectations every time of the mistake I did in the past that I did not voice out, I was not okay. And it was just not me. There were so many people around me whom I was interacting on daily basis at my organization, that we all have to stand there and started doing expressive art therapy. So in expressive art therapy, what happened was that everyone cried because of the process in the therapy. And after the therapy, most of them took up to me and say that, hey, Kriti, I cried so much, but I'm happy. And this is the moment where I realized that these people were able to liberate their feelings, and that is the problem. We don't address that, okay, I'm angry about this, I'm very happy about this, I'm not comfortable about this, I need to give a second thought about this. And these are the situations which make us a person. This is what shapes our identity. Because it is not the trait that makes your personality, it is your efforts that do it for you, right? And gradually people started coming and telling me that some personal situation where a guy came up and told me that you were the first who made me cry and I love it, right? And someone told me that till now I was just breathing, but now I believe that I want to live and I want to explore my life. I want to become a happier person. Another guy came up and told me that because of you, my sister can process her emotions better. And there was another guy who came and told me that, hey, Boomer, I don't know, you made up guy cry today. And it's not about, taking pride that people are crying. What makes me happy is that I'm so glad that because we are able to process our emotions, we are able to shed these tags that are given to us. And shedding these tags is the most important thing, because for a person like me who's always average in her life, did not believe in her potential, started believing in it the moment I have shed my, labels. And that's what I have put you all to do as well. And if you think that abhi bhi nahi ho pa raha hai, I don't think I can let go these tags. This is what I'm saying to everyone and not me, that have faith in my faith in you. And I'm at most stake that each one of you will become very successful, will become what you really believe in. Thank you so much.